about a year and a half to 2 years. Facebook is part of Instagram. Probably in other countries, Facebook is still master.
Do use Business Suite where you just post to both platforms, but I found the most interaction we actually have is from Facebook. Whereas Instagram, people would kind of like, or Facebook, you actually get back and comments. And
Tell me when you're ready, Matt. Awesome. Okay, guys, well, let's get started. We have an hour today of some amazing content. I'm sure people will trickle in, but more importantly, they're going to be joining live. Today, we're going to talk about the Tiffany effect. So the Tiffany effect is kind of an interesting topic. When I wrote my book in 2017, it was about dating and relationship development. And what I realized was you have to curate your brand. And a lot of people, that's kind of how that name came about. One else is a fan of Breakfast at Tiffany's, Audrey Hepburn's. There was a lot of curated engagement about what that brand meant to society at that time and how they became successful. Several. Oh, okay. How are we doing? Good. Matt Black Productions. Here we go. So this is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover what is the Tiffany effect, what my cufflinks from Tiffany's that my mother gave me at age 8 has to do with business, and then most importantly, and how this actually has to do with you and your real estate business, is defining and implementing your purpose is the number one thing that will make you attract successful people into your life, a successful client base, and also get you to the next echelon of your personalized success. And so let's create our own Tiffany effect. So what is the Tiffany effect? Tiffany effect is the result of creating a complete and positive alignment from who you know to be in yourself to what you represent to the outside world. It means everything about you, your life, and your story align to create an irresistible persona that any successful person in the world today will be attracted to. And that's what I want to create for you. I want you to mirror and merge basically your personal brand, blow that up so big so it becomes your business brand as well. So the name, the Tiffany effect, obviously comes from Tiffany & Co., who, if you follow the brand since the early 1800s, they're really successful at aligning every aspect of their brand. And even so much so that that light turquoise box, without even having a name on it, is probably the most recognizable retail packaging in the world today. Bigger than any other brand in the world. You see a light blue turquoise box, and immediately it conjures up thoughts of what that brand represents and the success with which that brand is implemented in their life. So Tiffany effect happens when everything in your life is in alignment. And I learned about the Tiffany effect from a young age. My mom actually used to live in New York City, and she was working for Chanel for several years. And one year, she sent me a Christmas present from Tiffany's. It came in that beautiful blue box with all these great looking ribbons and is very elegantly wrapped. Big box turned into a small box. A small box I opened up, and there was just 2 cufflinks in there. And they were etched MSB, and that was my initials. And what was really astounding to me, I knew she paid a lot of money for these cufflinks. We're talking probably $700, ounce of silver. Why was it so expensive when I could probably go to Dillard's, buy the same thing for $40? And what I realized was it's because of what the brand connotes. And there's a parallelism of your personal brand as well as your professional brand, and making sure that your clients as well as your professional colleagues mirror and see all of this in perfect unison. That's what we want the most. So, in doing that, I want to talk kind of about Tiffany and Co. and their personal brand. Think about when you open up a magazine, right? And you see a full page ad from Tiffany's, and they're showing this beautiful woman, maybe lavished in diamonds, etc. And it's in this turquoise blue, right? They're using that color continuity across every platform. Maybe you've been to one of the big cities in the US and beyond, and you've gone into one of their iconic stores, maybe New York City. How many of you in the audience have been to New York and been to the Tiffany store in New York? Pop your mic on.
Me?
What did you think about it when you were in it?
First of all, I thought about Audrey Hepburn and Breakfast at Tiffany's because it's one of my favorite movies and she's absolutely phenomenal. And I thought that this is a place where it's like it's nirvana for anybody who appreciates art, because it wasn't just jewelry, it was art. Everything was an artfully made piece. And also the way that you feel, the way that people talked to you and treated you, and the way that they treated their product was like over the top. It was an experience every second.
So when you feel those sensations, that nirvana, what a great word to use. I want you to think about how you can curate that same feeling with your clients, your colleagues, your friends. And when you look at Tiffany, I want you to look at 4 different platforms because this ties into real estate as well. First is marketing material, which is, the magazine platforms that they're in. They do a lot of ad spend, which, as we know, as real estate agents, is very costly and not necessarily very effective anymore. They have a beautiful brick and mortar building, like you talked about in New York City. And Audrey Hepburn made it even more glamorous because of that movie and the success of that movie. Go into their store, their scent being pumped into the AC units. Everything is in beautiful glass display. Everything is underlit. The diamonds are polished. The sterling silver is beautifully laid out. And then look at the product. When someone displays a beautiful diamond ring, they're wearing gloves. They're looking at it with such, wow, value. Think about how you can curate your business to do something very similar to your homes, to your listing clients. The reason I bring that up is, you remember in the mid 1990s, there was a huge epidemic in people trying to copy the success of the charm bracelet. I don't know if you remember in the mid 90s when you had those stainless or their sterling silver bracelets with the little heart pendant. There were so many fake Tiffany pennants out there that they had to bring in the counterfeit departments in government, try to eradicate that because it was so prevalent. And it was tarnishing Tiffany's brand and reputation. So how does the Tiffany effect apply to you? Well, intuitively, you can see something is off. If there is some, hey Matt, if you're on here, mute your computer. Intuitively, you can see something's off if something is counterfeited, right? That's the thing. And so in the Tiffany effect, it matters because the human mind subconsciously values things that are congruent and according to expectations. So in the terms of relationship development, in the terms of your real estate success, this means that the level of client that you're going to attract, the lifestyle, the values, the high price listings, they all have to be in alignment and congruent with the caliber of marketing, caliber of dress, caliber of presentation with which you are looking to appeal to that demographic. And I want to say this too, energy that you reflect into the world is the type of energy that will receive back. That's just human biology basically. And if you want positive energy reflecting outwardly into the world and back to you, you have to create a real synergistic approach when you're branding yourself and also branding your business. So think about these things when you are starting to brand your personal brand as well as your real estate brand, and how these things are incongruent when it comes to attracting certain level clientele, maybe getting into that luxury, hyper luxury price point. Think about how these things are incongruent. Dressed well and expensively, but poor at personal finances with yourself.
Read through it and understand it and let it slap me in the face to the point where I was cognizant constantly of what to do and how to react, how not to react, and how to handle things. It was a total blessing, by the way.
No, it's smart. And that's a great example of what we're talking about. So to kind of recap, the key elements to the Tiffany effect is number one, treatment of others. That person obviously treated you differently than the way you wanted to treat them. Personal standards. Your personal standards have to just ooze out of every pore of your body, because what you expect in yourself, you expect with your clients and your colleagues. Third thing I want to talk about is socioeconomic congruence. People hear socioeconomic congruence, immediately they think of money. But really what it is talking about is socioeconomic congruence is similar aspects of life in the way that you live your life. Similar educational values, similar spiritual values, similar lifestyles. You drive similar cars, you go to the same schools, you eat at the same dinners, those things. So when you look at creating the Tiffany effect in your life, I want you to think about, what is the type of client I am looking to attract? That is the key to the game. If you're looking to sell $2, $3, $4, $5 million houses, they're not at Applebee's on the weekend having nachos and a rack of ribs. They're at the Four Seasons. They're at the St. Regis. They're at Tiffany's buying a diamond ring. They're at all these places that you yourself have to imbue in your life and adopt if you want to attract that level of success. And last but not least, the number 4 point is foundational purpose. And we're going to touch upon this even more because it's the most important point, creating the Tiffany effect within your life. So successful people in general, whether it be a colleague, a client, possible listing, are attracted to men and women that stand for something. And they espouse those positive values in every aspect of their life. This is why the Tiffany effect is so powerful and why it's an absolute must in attracting high-level clients and high-level business colleagues. Biggest mistake most people make in regards to this is they believe it's about, maybe changing the way that they look or they do in certain ways. In reality, changing the being of yourself. It's adopting and really understanding every choice that you make in your life is reverberating around you and is affecting the way people see you. So what I want to talk about, which is extremely important in being successful in real estate sales and your personal brand, is defining and implementing your purpose. So I want to kind of go around the room here real quick. Anne, are you in the room?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
What is your purpose? If you had to define, like when you woke up this morning, what do you think your purpose of being on this earth is in 10 to 15 seconds?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I guess it always changes because, as you know, I have 3 boys and they're all growing up now. So my purpose is kind of changing. It's, for the past 22 years, it's been by my choice raising them. Now it's kind of changing and I don't know what my purpose is.
There you go. So this is why this class is so important. And the preceding classes that we're going to have in the weeks to come is have to define what drives you every single day. Pablo Picasso, one of the most renowned painters of all time, he had a really poignant quote you might want to write down and take notes of this. The meaning of life is to find your gift. Purpose of life is to give it away. About that for a second. The meaning of life is to find your gift. Purpose of life is to give it away. So when you define your gift, what makes you unique? What makes you unique in the marketplace? What makes you a really cool person that colleagues and or agents and or sellers and buyers want to work with? Find that. Do your best to tell everyone, shout it from the highest mountaintops of I'm good at this and I want to help others with my gift and what I am good at. That's why I'm doing this today and helping you guys, because I've had a lot of success in my life, but it's not true meaning till I can give what I have learned away and learn from others. So think about that for a second. Also, most people, men and women alike, believe that success in real estate and in their lives has 100% to do with mastering certain tactics, etc. But the reality is this: at least 80% of success in business and in your personal life has to do with relationships and the way that you treat yourself. I really want you to think about that. 80% of what you get in life has to do with your relationships and the way you treat yourself. Wake up every single day, like I talked about in last week's class, and cheer yourself on. You are the king, you are the queen of your domain. You yourself are going to go out in the world and touch the lives of others and help people with your gifts. That's the sentiment that should be, ringing around in your mind day in, day out. Answer Ann's question: mastering yourself comes from defining and implementing your purpose in life. So, how can we define and implement that purpose? Well, the first thing I would want to talk about in regards to this is you have to look at 4 quadrants. So if you have a notepad or you have your phone or you have any of those, I recommend you take a pen out and get your phone out right now, because this is really important. Your purpose really has nothing to do with what you think your career is, what your relationships are. It's more about something you're working on for your own reasons to accomplish your own goals in your mind. We talked about defining your destined state last week, right? What is the goal that you're trying to accomplish 5 years out? What is that desired state? And in doing so, there are 4 quadrants, that I want you to think about when it comes to defining your gifts. The first quadrant is skills. What are you really skilled at doing? And I want you to write that down. Maybe it's talking to people, video, maybe kindness. Maybe it's I know the market so well that I know every house everywhere from San Antonio to Dallas, and I'm going to help people with that gift. What is your skill? Second thing I want you to think about is passion. What are you passionate about? When you wake up in the morning, what just gets you on fire? Like, I'm ready to go. Let's kick ass. Find your passions. That's the second quadrant. The third quadrant is your core values. What do you have in yourself that you truly believe? Spirituality, your integrity, treat others the way you want to be treated. What are the core values that are most important for you? And the fourth thing is, what are your talents and gifts? Most people think skills are talents and gifts. They are not. Skills are things that we can learn. Talents and gifts are things that are innate in us. We're tall, we're short, we're skinny, we're small. All these things, right, are things that sometimes we're born with and sometimes we can learn. So what are you born with? What are the talents and the gifts that you have? And then I want you to ask some of these questions. About these questions as you define why, what, why, and where. The first why is, why do you exist? It sounds kind of like esoteric, but like, why do you think you are on this planet? Write that down. Why do you exist? Second thing I would ask is, why do you get out of bed every morning? What gives you that excitement and that drive to continue moving forward when life is continually beating us up or rewarding us? Third question is, why should people care? Cynthia had a great point today when she was talking about social media and marketing. Why should people care about your story? Write that down. Fourth is, what do you uniquely contribute to the world that's different than everyone? Have many gifts that so many people don't know about. What are those gifts? Write those down. Number 5, why do you have the career that you have? Other than the purpose of making EXP, I'm going to be an amazing realtor. I'm going to create this team. My rev share is going to blow up. My GCI is going to blow up. Why did you choose to do that as opposed to being a nurse, as opposed to being, an esthetician? What was your driver? Hopefully it wasn't just money. Then the last question, which I asked last time, which is extremely important from current state to desired state, is where do you see yourself next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Find those goals, write them down. Those are going to be the benchmarks for you establishing your success. And as I said before, your relationships, when it comes to your businesses and your personal relationships, is far more about defining and finding your personal success. What does that mean? And when your personal success is strong, you are your own cheerleader, you are confident in the moves and the things that you're doing, other people are going to want to be a part of it. Why do you think EXP was so successful? Why do you think you started getting traction in your business? I'm curious, pop your mics on. Have you guys seen when you have implemented personal success in your life, like the magnetism that draws people in? Chime in. Suzanne, you want to say something in regards to that? Arthur, you want to jump in? Mike, you want to jump in? Pop your mic on. You guys hear me?
I do.
Who is that?
It's Lisa.
Lisa, okay, you got your mic on. Have you seen aspects of your life where you have internalized your personal success and that has been a magnet to more success in your life? Give us an example for the group.
Oh yeah. When we moved from San Diego to here in Mesa, Arizona in 2019, and I was, and I'm no spring chicken. I'll be 61 this year. But I gave up my career as an escrow officer, and I went out and I really, really kind of just, I said, you know what? People need a good realtor. They need somebody who's going to answer their phone, because I had thousands and thousands of calls. No, they won't answer my calls. What are loan docs? What is this? What is that? So when I switched to being an agent here, and I started up, and everybody on Facebook, and I mean, people were like, yeah. It was like so cool. I mean, it was like the warm, fuzziest blanket ever. And then very, very trippy. When I went from the brokerage that I was at, and then I did my blast with the agency thing that actually it came out of Haas Pratt's office for me. Brenda did it for me, the ad to put on Facebook. People were calling me up and saying, well, why did you make that switch? What is it all about? I heard that it's kind of all smoke and mirrors and and like 10,000 questions, and people wanting to get more information. And I'm really a newbie at this aspect of the attraction side of it. But just changing and letting people know that type of a change, like questions and the interest, it just, see, I can't even articulate this, and I'm not a quite shy person, but I'm telling you, it just changing and being out there and letting people know what's good and what's real, and how that just attracted people was just amazing, an amazing thing.
Magnet. Yeah, Brandon, are you on? Brandon Doherty? Pop your mic on if you can hear me.
Yep, I'm on. How you doing?
Good. How you doing? Hey,
I'm
tell
good.
me in regards to your life, how personal success has really started attracting people to your life and blowing up your business. Do you have an example you want to share with the group?
I mean, just off top, yeah, like meeting Brian Culhane and just even being here, like just meeting Brian Culhane was the pivot to more self-development, more growth, more meeting more better people, a higher net worth of individuals, and surrounding myself with the right people. So I feel like anytime you just have like a good win in life, you kind of radiate a little bit and you're excited, and that is attractive to other people who come into your bubble, at least initially for the first week or however long you're letting it ride for.
Well, and the goal is, you hit the nail on the head. You want to keep that high in your life forever. I mean, look at Grant Cardone in aspects of what his personality is. Trying to keep that high as long as possible. So any movement, any motion is just reverberating and attracting people at the highest possible level. So if you really want to be good in your business, you have to focus on your personal life and making sure that those wins almost reverberate from like every pore in your body, right? You're attracting people into your life constantly. You want to blow up your rev share, focus on yourself. You want to be extremely wealthy, focus on your self-development and helping others on your journey. Anyone else want to chime in before we move on? Share one of your personal successes and how that has helped create more success in helping others in your life. Anyone else in the group? Pop your mic on. Jeremy, you in here?
I am. I'm about to run out to a meeting. Sorry, I'm evasive today.
Hey, you're a tough guy to get a hold of. Before you run out real quick,
Yeah.
How does personal success in your life attracted more success into your life?
Yeah, I think it's just, what you said earlier really resonates with you, defining what that gift is, authenticity, everything we've talked about, so that really hits home for me. So, I mean, I've had success with a couple different industries, really. So my prior job, I did about 20 years in the trading industry. So, just using those gifts, right? Kind of remembering where you came from to a degree, but being in the moment. So I just try to share, what I've learned from outside the industry, appreciate the differences that I have, working with a lot of real estate agents. I'm not, I don't have the same kind of type A personality, kind of influencer driver personalities of a lot of real estate agents. I'm a little more, operational, back office, analytical focused, but I work very well with real estate agents, I've found. So some of those types of personalities. So, kind of partnering yourself with those kinds of people. With EXP, you're building an organization. So it's really important to have that core group around you, and that's something I learned in my 9-to-5 grind. They're kind of placing people around you, and I was lucky and fortunate to work with people that I respected and got along with. But with what we do, you have a lot of autonomy to kind of choose those people. So, we've done some health retreats and things. There's a bunch of different ways to look at it. The disc profile, the king, magician, warrior, lover. Brian has king energy. I have a little more of the magician energy, for an example. So, just knowing kind of those strengths and those histories, and then projecting those out to your real kind of like royal court, if you will, and the people that you want to build your organization with, and kind of combining forces and getting all that kind of fluid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And almost, when you think about blowing up your personal brand as well as your business brand, I almost want you to think about everything that we have in our minds and what we manifested in our lives has to do with a seedling that we planted. You know, let's say you plant something in the ground, right? It takes time. You got to water it. You got to tend to it. You got to make sure that it grows into exactly what you want it to grow. You got to trim it. You got to put sunlight on it. You got to do all these things where it just doesn't happen overnight, but small wins, time in and time again, create huge, massive benefits into our lives and other people's lives. And I think it was it Brennan? Did you bring up, Brennan, about uh, creating that consistent high? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me, and I actually love your plant analogy because I became a farmer like a few years ago, and it just like it totally relates to the sales game. Nobody grows a fruit by just planting a seed. Like you have to water it and cultivate it and take care of it and follow up, basically.
Well, and you want a trick too. You want to keep a constant high. You know, when we're in the growing spurts of, let's say, our plants, using this analogy, time sprouts up a foot. You know, it kind of wallows. There isn't a lot of water. All these things. It's a high-low mentality. That constant high, I would recommend two things into your guys' life. Number one, keep your dance card full. When you have events pushing you forward into the future, creating something that is meaningful in your life, you will be reverberating at a high level because you're forced to. You have things that are there. It's like, the sense of idle hands create the devil's work. If you have nothing going on in your life, you are going to sit and dwell on the negativity as opposed to be propelled forward because of the positive. Second thing I would highly recommend that you do that doesn't take any money, all that I recommend to do if you want a consistent high, the biggest dopamine drop in your mind is when you help others. Something nice for others. You know, if an older lady is having problems with her groceries, help her put it into her car. You know, if someone is having an issue, open the door for them. All these simple things create little atmosphere synapses in our brain that makes us feel better. And those things constantly done over time creates more confidence in ourselves, and that translates back into our business and our personal life. So what are the four things you want to concentrate on to kind of recap? You're growing that tree. You're growing that aspect of success in my personal life and in my business, the true Tiffany effect. Treatment of others. Always lead with a positive, uplifting message. Personal standards. You can't expect anything from anyone that you yourself aren't putting into this world. Socioeconomic congruence. If you want to attract high-level listings, if you want to attract really wealthy, financially wealthy, mentally wealthy, health wealthy people into your life, you yourself have to constantly be leveling up. It's okay to start from zero. We all have at some point in our life. It's okay to fall back, but just remember, you are who you are with. Most importantly, you want to make the biggest impact in your life. I want you to focus on creating the foundation, defining your purpose. So I'll talk about the treatment of others because I think this is a real important one. One of the first things that people do with a strong purpose or strong confidence is to put others, a lot of people, we're all guilty of this, put others down to make ourselves feel better. How many have done that? Pop your mic on.
Guilty.
And why do you think you've done that?
I think maybe like subconsciously, hopefully, but I mean, maybe to do it to make my own self feel better, maybe.
Yeah, that's almost our mind trying to rationalize and repurpose why someone did better than us or someone had a better result than us. And when you reframe that aspect in your mind to not putting them down, but applauding them, being a part of their orbit, learning from them, all that success that they're experiencing and now reflected back on you. People who are truly confident in themselves and have a strong sense of purpose have no real need to compare themselves to others. They bring other people up with them. That's their defined purpose. So when you look at this hyper competitive environment, a lot of their mental health is really not good. because this is one of the biggest things I learned in my life. My father made and lost hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of his career. And I was wondering, what was the big takeaway? And he says, the biggest mistake I made in my life in my 20s, 30s, and 40s is I equated my net worth with my self-worth. Said those two are not the same. They are not in the same congruence. If you are a good person and you're helping others, you have extremely high self-worth, you have a high sense of purpose, net worth will follow. You have the right vehicle, which luckily we're all in. So something to think about there. Second thing is, people notice a lack of confidence in yourself. You know, if you are a judgmental person, which guilty, sometimes we all are. If we're condescending, which guilty, sometimes we all are, you start to realize it almost gives you like a bad taste in your mouth. Kind of like, I don't even know why I said that. Has anyone ever had that where they actually like made a judgment or put someone down and then they leave the room and they're kind of like, I kind of feel dirty, like bad. Pop your mic on. I'm curious.
Oh, yeah.
How did that make you feel after you made that judgment call? Did it make you feel like unhealthy?
That's an excellent way to frame that. And also, it it made me feel like a stupid little kid. Just like 2-year-old having a temper tantrum type, you know what I mean? Type thing, like, okay, that really didn't serve any purpose. And it's embarrassing.
We've all been there. And I'd almost end with this as far as treatment of others, because this is important. Evaluate how you treat others and make it a point to treat everyone in a kind way if you can do that. Now, obviously, that doesn't happen, 24/7 because we have outside influences that bring us down in certain moments of our life. But overall, if you can lead with kindness, seek your own validation from your own metrics of success, rather than the detriment or put down of others, you will have very strong mental health. And I promise you, your business will exponentially grow because of that. So think of that treatment of others. The next thing I want to talk about is personal standards. High value people, the people that you want to have their listings, the people that you want to become, the Brian Culhanes of the world, our CEO, all these people that are worth multi millions and billions of dollars and have the financial success that we crave, hold themselves to a very personal high standard. So when you think of that, think of some of the things that they have that you want to implement in your life. And if you have a pen or your phone, I suggest you write these down. First thing, when you look at hyper successful people, the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Bill Gates, Warren Buffett's, they all have these things in common. So write these down. The first is prudent fiscal management. They know how to manage money. They know how to grow money. So make it a point in your personal life and your business to study up on that topic. If that scares you, that's okay. And looking at foreign languages always scared me. I said, I can't learn how to speak Spanish well, so I better be damn good at English. But I knew money was a language I had to understand well if it was important to me. Second thing I would say that you need to write down is interest in educated topics. Clients that you're looking to attract, the colleagues, people possibly investing into your business or giving you their listings, they're educated. They know what's going on in the world. They kind of have an idea of, okay, my house is worth this, where I like to eat. This is what I think about in the political climate. This is what I think about in the fiscal climate. Be educated on those topics. Newspaper, look at your news feed. Be a sponge of information of what's going on in the world. Third thing, hyper successful people avoid complaining. You're a complainer, which I've been guilty of. The least successful time in my life is when I complain the most. And once I said, hey, no one cares about my complaints, let's go, I started becoming successful. So avoid complaining. Next thing, you want to avoid complaining, fill your dance card, take massive action. Grant talks about this a lot in his 10X rule, but massive action, filling your dance card, creates immense amounts of success for you and in your business. One's overlooked, but we talked about it before. Care for others. Treat other people with respect. It will come back to you tenfold, I promise you. And also, I want you to take care in the things that you do. And talking about the Tiffany effect, think about that brand. Think about that experience. If you haven't been in a brick and mortar store at Tiffany's, if you're in Arizona, go to the one in Fashion Square. If you're in New York, go to the one in New York. If you're overseas, go to the one that's closest to you and just kind of take in that experience. Take mental notes and say, okay, I want to use some of these things that I've learned because of this experience and incorporate it in my personal and my business brand. Next thing, socioeconomic congruence. So we talked about that briefly, but SES stands for socioeconomic congruence. I'm going to read my notes because there's a lot of things that you might want to take notes on here that are really important. Think about this. And these are like in micro letters. So I'm going to hold this paper up so I can read it. But think of someone with low socioeconomic congruence and why necessarily you don't want to do business with these people, because this is not where the money is at, versus someone who has high socioeconomic congruence, right? The first is income. If you have a low income, that's the first indicator of low socioeconomic congruence, right? If you have a low income, you want to start hanging out with people with a high income if that's where you want to go. Educational level. Everyone thinks, oh God, I don't have a college degree. That's okay. Now more than ever, it's okay not to have formalized degrees, but education is important. People that choose not to be educated because they're not going and reading, they're not looking at YouTube, they're not absorbing all this information, are low socioeconomic people. You don't want to associate with them. Third thing is housing quality. Where do they live? Think of the parts of town that they live in. Think of the parts of town that you want to live in. You want to do business in the highest income areas in those parts of town that you are in. Spend time in those parts of town. That's where you want to conduct your business. Security. Are these people secure both financially and mentally? Lower socioeconomic people are very insecure. That's why you see a lot of negativity. Why you see, oh my God, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to do all these things, right? Where other people that have more security in their mind and in their pocketbook are the types of people that you want to hang out with. The other thing I would say is treatment and access. This is important. In order to create success in your business, you have to create access to more successful people. So last week we talked about your goal, regardless of your financial situation, should be to be spending the most amount of time with people that are equal or higher than you. Equal, higher in income, equal or higher in energy, equal and higher in opportunity, equal and higher in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Because if you're spending time with people that are higher in whatever level that you want to become, they are forcing you to grow. They are making it uncomfortable for you to stay in that same state. If you're with lower socioeconomic people in mindset or in money, they're making it okay. They're making it okay to be complacent. They're making it okay to, oh, it's okay. You know, $50,000 a year is okay. Happy with that. Why aren't you happy with what you have? I'm not happy because I want to keep growing. I want to keep helping people. How many of you have been in that situation where people tell you, pop your mic on, you should be happy with what you've done. You've done well. Marissa, are you in here?
I sure am.
Has anyone told you you should be happy with what you accomplished? It's okay.
Actually, a lot, especially as I've gotten later on in my life and have become more successful. And I realized that, yeah, I should be happy, but I know I could be happier doing more.
That's why that equal or more principle is more and more important, because people who are here in their lives, those naysayers, those people that put us down for wanting more, are they themselves mirroring their insecurities on us? And that's why EXP is such a great thing, because all like-minded people everyone wouldn't be in this room if you guys didn't want to go to the next level. And that fuels us to create more, right? Create more commonality with more people and foster it even more. So the ability and continuity to find commonality with people and others comes from having a extensive social network. And I'll say that again, extensive social network. You guys want to raise the level of your income, raise the level of which you people, go out and meet as many high level people as possible and do your best to create genuine relationships and friendships. And if they don't give you the time of day, or they just and they say, hey, I'm not interested, whatever, stop bothering me, that's okay. That's not a no. That's just telling you you're not at a high enough level for them to take notice. But that doesn't mean you won't be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Remember that. A no only means no right now. It means, in my mind, a yes in the future when I level up even higher. Anyone have any story they want to share in regards to that? You guys liking this content so far? Pop your mic on.
It's
Yeah, it's great.
phenomenal.
Thank you.
Loving it.
Great. Okay, so that being said, so you have treatment of others, personal standards, socioeconomic congruence. Think about these things. What are you trying to create in your own life? If you're trying to become a millionaire financially, you need to be hanging out and associated with billionaires, or millionaires rather. If you want to be a billionaire, you got to be associating with billionaires, and they're few or far between. But remember, like we talked about last week, almost like a video game. Think of Mario Brothers, right? You're going, all these obstacles are coming at you. You're trying to jump up over these obstacles, hit the, you're trying to hit the little question mark, and then the little mushroom pops out, and you're trying to get coins and go to the next level. As you go to the next level in your life, you're going to be more confident. And as you're more confident, I want you to take that confidence and go out and meet more people who are equally as confident and more successful than you. As your social network grows, so will your net worth and your business. If you're looking honestly at your business, you're saying to yourself, why am I not reaching these high levels of financial success? I can almost tell you right now, it's because not enough people know who you are. Haven't defined those 4 things that we talked about, and I'll address them again. Finding and implementing your purpose, skills, your passion, your core values, and your talents and your gifts. Shout that at the top of the mountaintops and start meeting people, not just any people that are going to help you get to your goal faster, equal or more, and start fostering relationships with those people. That's the key to the game. So as we conclude, and then we'll do a quick Q&A because I know we're kind of coming up at the top of the hour, Tiffany effect and why this is such a profound aspect of life and creating a real successful personal brand that mirrors with your business brand is congruency. I want you to think about when you walk into those stores, when you see those beautiful ads, when you try on that great ring, when you're looking at all these glass displays and all this, silver and diamonds just glistening at you. People are offering you champagne, all this stuff. It's almost nirvana, as was stated earlier in this segment. How do you create that for your clients? How do you create that for your network? How do you create that for your friends? Take that, duplicate that, and slowly build on it. You and your business will grow exponentially. Tiffany effect is really important because the world responds to you with the kind of energy that you put out into the world. There is something about you that's not congruent, which, let's be honest, there's a lot of incongruencies with people. I was guilty of it in my 20s. I'm still learning how to be more congruent, and this helps me. The reason I love teaching you guys this stuff is this helps me level up in Mario Brothers and get to the next level. Because the more incongruencies that we can eradicate in our life, the more authentic we can become and the more success we will attract. So remember that. And then also, always be the best version of yourself by having a strong purpose. Rather than trying to act a certain way, do it by addressing the fundamentals of your life. If you're not getting what you want out of your life, there's only one person that's to blame. That's self. And it's a strong awakening. I mean, I look at my life and I'm like, God, I've done this, I've done that, and then I still look at myself like, whoa, I really haven't done that much as far as what I want to accomplish. Pop your mic on if you guys are guilty of the same thing.
Guilty.
What do you think you can do after learning some of the things you learned in this class right now today to help you with the congruency and creating a better personal brand and business brand in your life?
I think, yeah, just like planning more things, planning more events, planning more places to show up to, and to just cultivate more relationships for sure. I mean, I'm a cold caller, so I'm sitting in my house a lot, and so that's partly due to COVID. But now that that's kind of hopefully coming to an end or whatever, we're getting back out into the world. I'd love to be going to more real estate mixers and meeting people that are just like me, kind of on the same path, trying to do the same things, invest in real estate, create real estate wealth, build a business. I think that's where I can make like authentic relationships.
Through heartache comes so much opportunity. COVID created so much, death and destruction in so many people's lives, but it also has created an unbelievable opportunity for those looking to go out and meet people and foster relationships. People are hungrier now more than ever to meet other people. So if you make it a point in your life to go out and meet them, sky's the limit.
Yeah, they do want to meet people in real life now again. I definitely agree with you. People miss the real people for sure.
So before we open up to Q&A, I want you to remember this, the 4 aspects of creating the Tiffany effect in your life. Aside from focusing on others, I want you to think about treatment of others, personal standards, socioeconomic congruency, and most importantly, finding your foundational purpose. Why are you on this planet? You're not on this planet just to be a realtor and sell houses. Have a bigger calling than that. Find what it is, figure out what it is, and share your gifts with the world. That's the calling card for today. Does anyone have any questions before we sign off?
I'll just speak up real quick, Michael. Super appreciate you. The value that you're giving is amazing. Definitely want to have $1 million brand, and branding is so important. Personal branding is so important. Somebody was mentioning earlier, I forget who it was, that they just didn't quite know what their purpose was right now. Their kids maybe just went off to college or whatever, and they're just not quite sure like what their purpose is. And I feel like for all of us, our purpose is to like help each other grow. And we're cultivators, we're farmers, like me and Michael were talking about. So if you want to think about people in your life as little crops, your job is to like help them grow, help them, become successful. And in turn, I think they're going to help you back. And I think it's going to create like this beautiful synergy of helping everyone. And it's going to create this ripple effect that I think is going to change your life, basically.
Paying it forward is almost the most powerful tool in life, and you don't even know it, but it comes back to you tenfold when you least expect it.
Love it.
Anyone else want to ask anything or bring thoughts before we sign off?
Your purpose is to love and be loved. Share the love.
You guys enjoy this?
Yes, this was very, very eye-opening, and your insight to and likening things to beautiful things in the world really helped, because it gives it that nirvana spin. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And the thing is this, you touched upon a very important aspect. And if there's something, I can leave you with before we sign off, it's this. Beauty is important in life. There's nothing wrong with beautiful things. There's nothing wrong with beautiful people. There's nothing wrong with a beautiful experience. And I want you to create that and make that the norm in your life, not something that is, unattainable. I want you to associate beauty with your brand, beauty with your personal life, beauty with everything that you go out and try to achieve. Because when you do that, you're going to attract a higher level clientele and your income is going to grow. I promise you, because it wasn't until I started doing that and holding myself to a higher standard that my net worth started to grow with it. And that's a real strong takeaway. So I appreciate you mentioning. Anyone else want to say anything?
Say thanks so much for your time. There is one question I have. So I help a lot of people come into Portugal. I help expats with visas, with getting all their references, and that has come back to me tenfold with clients. And I get a referral going, someone said you helped them, and I don't even know who they're talking about, which is great. I'm struggling with my personal brand because I'm growing a team in Portugal. So we are like the Portugal Properties team. And there's going to become a stage where I do have to create my own business, tax-wise and everything. That I'm struggling. Do I create a name? Do I create my own personal name? So any advice on that one? Because I'm not very good at being in the foreground.
Are you an extrovert or an introvert?
I'm actually an extrovert, but hold on a second. Sorry, dog's barking. My background is I used to run very big film productions. So I'm in the background doing all the budgets, the logistics, the management. So I'm very good with a lot of moving parts, but I don't want to be the person in the front on the camera. That's not me. So I like being in the background, but I work with a lot of moving parts with a lot of people at the same time. And I love that. I'm good with that. And I help a lot of people. With the Myers-Briggs, I'm the guardian. I look after people. In everything I've ever done, I'm a leader. I'm not a follower. So.
Well, that's an interesting aspect because you brought in, personally, I'm an introvert that is forced to be an extrovert to get what I want.
Oh, no, I said, you're
an extrovert. I know you said that.
Yeah.
But
pretty much
your own brand. And I'll just tell you this, if you're having difficulty finding your own brand, where I would start is a concept that we teach our dating clients and our high net worth clients looking to grow their income. We teach a concept called follow the stars. And basically what that means is if there is a celebrity, a well-known person that's in the public eye that you really emulate, you like maybe the way they dress, you like how they conduct their business activities, you like how they are with the press, you like with what they're doing in business, copy, learn, incorporate, take those things and adopt them as your own. And what I would say is this: people that are not in the foreground and people that want to be behind the scenes have to force yourself to be exceptionally good at interacting with people and being an extension of your business brand with your personal one. Great example of this is Warren Buffett. Most people don't know this, but one of his prized things that he has in his wall in Omaha is his Toastmasters certificate, where he learned how to be a public speaker, because he attributed billions of dollars of his net worth with his ability to communicate. He didn't know what his brand was. He wasn't even a celebrity until he bought the Washington Post. And most people don't realize this, but he forced himself to go out and cultivate the ability to talk to other people. And what he did is he adopted people and learned from them. A great book to read on this, if you're looking, is Snowball by Alice Schroeder. That's his authorized biography that talks about the beginning and his current life now as Warren Buffett. And you can pull so many branding nuggets out of there. I hope that helps as far as is cultivating your own brand.
Kind of what I was trying to work out is like, do I create a business with my own name? Is it okay to create a business behind a logo?
Yes. They don't know you, they will not flow you. That's Grant Cardone's, biggest thing. And I would almost say this: your personal brand and you yourself is your best business card. So when they associate your success, whether you're in the foreground or the background, they're going to take the way that you talk to people, your attire, all those things that you have that are unique to you, and they are going to associate that with your business brand. So you yourself have to take your personal brand to the highest level and associate that and bring that in your business brand. Does that help?
Yeah, that's answered it. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I love that, Michael. Lisa, I kind of always thought about that as well. Like, do I, put my name out there? I was a very young realtor at the time, so my name didn't hold a lot of weight. It was a very new name. There's no sales behind it. There's no validation behind it. So I was like, maybe I should build a brand and have the brand be the forefront and me kind of be in the background behind the scenes where nobody could see my young face and think that I'm super young and inexperienced or whatever. I think
You know what the
really,
most important brand in your life is, Brennan?
so I'm learning it's personal brand. It's everything.
Brandon Doherty is the most important brand to Brandon Doherty.
Yeah, and so if you watch like people like Gary Vee that are really good at this, they're kind of saying very similar things, which is like building your personal brand is basically the best thing you could do, because whether you stick around in real estate or not, that's going to be you, and you can pivot that into other places, and people will see your business sense and see how savvy you are personally, to where it could create more than just real estate opportunities, if that makes sense.
And you got to realize it's a slow burn. You don't create a personal household brand until you spend probably 5 to 15 years constantly cultivating it and putting it out there in the world. And the first step, people are going to resist it. They're going to put you down. They're going to say, "Why are you an authority? Why do I need to know you? Why? It was a complete joke. Here's an example. When I started my dating business, I was 26 years old, and everyone thought this person is a total charlatan and clown. How does he even know about marriage when he himself has never been married? And I had so much difficulty charging a client $100 for my time and services. Fast forward 6 years, now I charge $10,000 plus for the same exact service, and they're happy to pay it. Why is that? Because, like the tree that we talked about, we're growing our personal brand alongside our business brands. That's cultivating opportunities that are endless with the people that we're interacting with. So hopefully that helps.
I love that, Mike. That's hilarious.
I love that you just said that. Think about it. You ever like Sabian, I think of Saban, excuse me, the coach. Like, you don't see this guy out on the field, though. You don't see, it's what's in his mind. And I think for us, and when you just referred to your dating service, you had it in your mind, in every fiber of your being. So people can have a tall, cold glass of shut the F up, okay? Because you knew what you knew. And when people start dragging down and being that condescending piece of stuff out there, I'll tell you something right now. That's when you put the biggest smile on your face, because that's when you know you're winning. That's when you know that you struck a nerve with somebody, and what they're saying is not what they're thinking, and the way they're reacting is not what they feel inside. I just love that you said that, because like, to go out and to meet people that are maybe are on a higher social level than you, that's the other thing too. Nobody knows what you know until you show up, put that smile on your face, and walk that room and talk that talk. This is probably one of the most wonderful meetings. I just can't thank you enough. Wow.
Much. That's very kind. And lead with kindness. And that's the thing. The more kind you are to people, the more you share your gifts, which are personal to you, and no one knows them until you give them. That's when your life is forever changed. So with that, we'll end the class. And thank you guys so much. Hopefully you got a lot away from this. Go out there and help people. Help yourself. Cultivate your own personal brand, and rise to heights you never thought possible. Guys, next week. Take care.
Thank you, Michael.
See you, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.